What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is Legitical Response. We cover political news, and folks, I've got some bad news. I've got some really bad news. As a matter of fact, there's a new variant of TDS, of Trump Derangement Syndrome out there. It's called David Pakman. This man is still trying to claim, right, this variant, I'm sorry, let me back up for a second. Let me explain this David Pakman variant of Trump Derangement Syndrome. It's where, okay, so anything that happens to whoever they're backing, whatever political leader that they're backing, anything negative that they're forced by reality to report on, anything negative, right? They have to also claim that the other guy is suffering from whatever negative reality there is upon the other guy. That's the new variant of Trump Derangement Syndrome, the David Pakman variant. He is still trying to claim that Donald Trump has dementia and was slurring his speech and couldn't hardly be understood at all at the RNC speech, the one he just gave last night. Went on for 93 freaking minutes straight. These people are outright just nuts. Like, it's, I hate to say just nuts, because that is an insult to nuts, because it's beyond nuts. It's beyond, like, delusional. It's beyond all of these things. It's something new. Like I said, it's a new variant of Trump Derangement Syndrome, folks. That's what we have on our hands. And, we still haven't found a cure or anything to relieve the symptoms of Trump Derangement Syndrome. Even a heavy dose of an assassination attempt has not cured people of their Trump Derangement Syndrome. It is just, I think that was the last-ditch effort, and it didn't work. Right? He's even going in. I was watching this video, and Trump pretty much started his speech by attributing his near-death experience to divine intervention, right? And then so he's showing a video of Donald Trump talking, and then he just quickly cuts and said,
"And I'll tell you, I stand before you in this arena only by the grace of Almighty God."
Trump is almost certainly not religious.
Okay, dude, are you sure about that? Like, are you in the guy's head? Do you really know? Right? Like, sure, he may have not have been religious, like, a long time ago, but he does talk about God a lot. So, huh? But once again, like, you can't make sense of somebody who has Trump Derangement Syndrome, who is trying to explain how they perceive reality, because they don't perceive reality in the same way we do. They have TDS glasses on. They have TDS vision as well. See, TDS doesn't affect just your brain. It affects your perception of reality outright. It is neurological in nature, essentially. So, there's nothing you can do. Like, you could tell them, look, Trump is the greatest president ever, and he could be the greatest president ever, right? You could do something like this, right? You could watch Trump say, "I ate at McDonald's yesterday," and they will perceive that as something totally different. Like, I can't even think of what they could, because it's so divorced from reality. But I'm ranting on. Let's get into the story today. Yeah, we're not talking about the old plot attempt. I'm not going into all that. I just wanted to throw that headline up there because, like, we knew it. Like, the corporate press is just scumbags, right? They're coming out and saying, oh, well, he had increased protection, increased Secret Service protection. Are you sure about that? Like, something doesn't line up here. Like, we're looking at the situation. Something doesn't line up. Well, there you go. It took a whistleblower to come out to the Oversight, or the Judiciary Committee, I'm sorry, and tell the Judiciary, look, we're understaffed, y'all. We are understaffed. and we don't have enough people on site to do the damn job. We all see it, right? Like, but that's not what the story we're getting into today. I just wanted to show you guys that because it's like, okay, we're getting the slow drip feed of information coming out. And once again, like I said yesterday, it's like usually when you get information, you keep getting a slow drip of information. Usually the puzzle pieces start to come together, right? And everything starts to make sense. But nothing about this is making any sense. Every time some new information comes out, you got 10 more freaking questions now. It's like, okay, so he didn't have increased Secret Service protection, even though Iran has apparently Iran is supposed to have some assassination attempt on the pipeline, like coming down the pipeline or whatever. It's like, okay, these people just don't know what's going on. They don't know what to report. They're obviously not reporting the facts. They're obviously not looking at the facts because none of the facts make any sense in this thing. But like I said, that's not the story that we're getting into, and I'm already into this thing over 5 minutes. So yeah, we need to kind of get going, don't you think? Well, wait, it's not you, it's me that needs to hurry up, sorry. Joe Biden faces increasing pressure to quit the race, but has spent a lifetime overcoming the odds. This thing, oh my goodness, this story here, you guys, you're going to love this. This is great. To borrow a favorite phrase from the man himself, President Joe Biden is at an inflection point, folks. Is his on-the-ropes re-election campaign about public service or his ego? I personally believe it's the latter. About securing his legacy or shaping the future? Such opposing forces of American politics have been clashing with each other since his awful debate with Donald Trump. Biden is now weighing whether to bow to the mounting pressure to step aside. His decision will be based not just on this moment, but on his long history in public life and the extraordinary personal struggles he has endured since the dawn of his political career, y'all. These people are fawning over Joe Biden right now, if you can't tell. This is all outright nuts. His political career has been rife with lies, folks. Right? What do politicians generally do? They generally lie. We know that. Joe Biden has been a career politician his entire life. Just about his entire life. I mean, it was a senator at like 27 years old or something like that. But he's been in politics for that long. He's been a senator for that long. Then he was vice president, as we know, and now he's president. And he doesn't have a distinguished career, folks, right? I've covered an ungodly amount of news articles surrounding Joe Biden. And I tell you, I really didn't think Joe Biden was all that bad of a guy when he got elected, right? I was like, oh, he's just a career politician, blah, 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 blah. But ever since he got elected, right? Ever since I started reading the news, paying attention to what's going on, holy crap, dude. This is the worst president in American history. You could take the next, like a top 10 of worst presidents, and you could take the next 9 presidents and add up all of their bad stuff that they've done. And I bet you Joe Biden, it would be competitive. I bet you it would be competitive. And the corporate press is sticking their neck out for this person, this guy, sticking their neck out for him. And I don't know why, right? The corporate press narrative can't be that worth losing your reputation over. But I guess it is, because that's exactly what they're doing. His party's swelling crisis of confidence in Biden's capacity to beat Trump is confronting his legendary self-assuredness. The next days will prove to be critical. Right now, he's dug in, and he and his campaign have insisted he's staying in the race. In the 3 weeks since the debate, Biden has banked on inertia and the fear of the unknown, and there's a lot of unknowns, to stem the panic in his party. But Democrats are increasingly seeking to push him out because of what they believe they do know. Biden is currently trailing Trump and threatens to bring them all down with him. That's right. Like, I heard a conversation the other day, we were talking about, who's going to replace Joe Biden? right? And you know, there's all kind of names being thrown around. I'm sure you guys have heard almost all of them, right? But who wants to do that? Right? Who wants to come in a half-assed campaign and come in just to get defeated by Donald Trump and pretty much end their political career? That's what's going to happen. Anybody who is going to come in on the tail end of this thing, right? They're not going to have enough time for a political career. They're not going to have enough time to mount a decent campaign. You've got 3.5 months, something like that, until November, 4 months. That's not enough time for a presidential campaign, y'all. Right? You got to pick a running mate. You got to set up your policies. You got to do all this garbage, right? You got to get vetted. All this good stuff. That's just not. I mean, sure, it's enough time, but it's not enough time, to be honest with you. I mean, look how long Donald Trump's presidential campaign has been going on. It honestly seems like it's been going on since 2019. for goodness sakes, right? Like with a little bit of break from 2021 to 2022. A slight year-long break, and that's it. But I mean, who wants to come in? Who wants to play backup person? You know, who wants to be the backup quarterback? What kind of legacy would you be setting yourself up for, to be the backup quarterback, to come in because your guy got injured and had to get taken out of the game, right? In a Super Bowl. I mean, that's what it's like. You're coming in, and if you don't, you know, if you're not successful, your career is going to end, just outright end, and that's it. That's all for you. Bye-bye, folks. No more politics for me. Good luck. You might get a congressional seat, but that's about it. You're never going to go anywhere else. Right? Like, look how long it took Joe Biden to rerun for president, right? He ran for president like in the late 80s or something like that. And it took him a very long time to run for president again. First with private signals, and now with coordinated leaks, some of the most influential Democrats in the country, among them Barack Obama, Nancy Pelosi, and Chuck Schumer, let it be known that they had doubts about Biden's viability. Some told him so directly, and let it be known publicly. The polls, not great before the debate, are worse. It suddenly looks like the walls are closing in, folks. Not right. It's no longer Donald Trump the walls are closing in. Now the walls are closing in on Biden. Here we go with this BS again. Biden's orbit, already shrinking, has grown smaller. How can it grow smaller, corporate press? No, it shrinks. It doesn't grow smaller. You love the wordage here, right? Trying to sound smart and sophisticated. But it sounds retarded, right? To the regular person, regular folks, you can't grow smaller. I'm sorry. That's a double negative, or you know, it's an offset. It offsets itself essentially. It's what I'm trying to say here. It's like one step forward and one step back, huh? Like, what was the point in that? It's like saying I'm going in out the door. It's ridiculous, but leave it to the corporate press to try to baffle you with BS instead of dazzle you with brilliance, right? When they could put together an article and make you like fawn over their language that they use. They're going to come in with something stupid. Just, oh my goodness, like, what are we going to do with the corporate press, by the way? Like, well, when they fail, we're going to have all these people that worked for the corporate press. Like, I don't think that corporate press, like the news, like the published articles, the online published articles, I really don't think those are going anywhere anytime soon. But like CNN and MSNBC, what are we going to do with these places, right? Just wonder. What are we going to do? Do you think, let me know down in the comments, do you think these places are ever going to go under? I mean, their ratings are really bad, but they still have a base. Somewhat. Kind of dumb if the people actually buy into the corporate press narrative, which, by God, a lot of people do. And that's my whole reason for existence, is to try to get people off of the corporate press narrative. You know, you don't have to follow and believe my opinion. By God, I got a lot of people down in the comments disagree with me, for God's sakes. And I urge you to disagree with me if you disagree with me. But Don't buy into the lies. I'm going to give it to you straight when I'm pointing out some BS from the corporate press. I'll give that to you outright. I may have a differing opinion on politics, but I'm not going to BS you when it comes to corporate press BS. His loyalists expressed frustrations that the Democratic criticism of the president is harming his ability to beat Trump. Campaign officials have said Biden has grown even more committed to staying in the race as the calls for him to go have mounted. But there's also time for Biden to reconsider a brief opening, seemingly being exploited by party leaders trying to plot his exit. Biden has kept a brisk schedule since the June 27th debate catastrophe, working to convince voters he has not gone to seed. That he is up for the task of another 4 years, that the debate was merely a bad night. Folks, buy into that BS narrative if you want to. After some well-received speeches mixed with so-so TV interviews and a day featuring an extended news conference in which he displayed a nuanced grasp of policy, but also committed a few gasp-inducing gaffes, he got COVID-19. Meanwhile, in Milwaukee, energized and united Republicans celebrated Trump's nomination at their convention, their adoration stoked by his defiant response in the seconds after a gunman opened fire at his Pennsylvania rally in a failed attempt on his life. Biden retreated to Delaware to isolate and recover. His biggest supporters and one of his closest advisors, Jill Biden, was with him. The trajectory of the race. Some Democrats hope Biden, while off the campaign trail for a while, will take a fresh look at the trajectory of the race and how he wants history to remember him over the coming days. For Biden's team, it's whiplash. His aides thought the president had quelled the flaring post-debate concerns about his age and acuity twice. First, he made a surprise call into MSNBC's Morning Joe to make a flat-out challenge. Any of these guys that don't think I should run against me. Announce for president. Challenge me at the convention. Then he held his own for an hour last week at a news conference closing the NATO summit, speaking assuredly in a high-pressure, unscripted setting. Though he fumbled when he named Trump instead of Kamala Harris as his vice president after calling Ukraine's President Putin and quickly correcting himself. That's right, more gaffes, a lot more gaffes. That is all Joe Biden does. And do you blame the guy? He's getting too old. He is way too old for this job. It's a very stressful job. You got to know a lot of things, right? Because people want to know stuff. You're the president of the United States. People want strength. They want security. And when you have a guy that's up there doing this...
My administration is working around the clock to free the remaining hostages, just as we have freed hostages already. And here with us today is Hersh Goldberg Poland, and is still, he is not here with us, but he's still being held by Hamas. He calls the erectionists who stormed Capitol Hill patriots. Let me ask you, what do you think he would have done on January the 6th if black Americans had stormed the Capitol?
We already have a nigger mayor. We don't need any more nigger big shots.
And when I was vice president, things were kind of bad during the pandemic. And what happened was Barack said to me, go to Detroit and help fix it. Well, poor mayor, he spent more time with me than he ever thought he was going to have to. I walked the picket line with union workers here in Michigan. At the same time, Trump went to a non-union stop. Let me ask you, if he's reelected, who do you think he'll put on a Supreme Court? You think he'll put anybody who has a brain?
That's not what you get from this man. You don't get strength. You get none of that whatsoever with Joe Biden. And then his policy, right? It's not just his age. Not just his age and all the fumbles and all this other stuff. The guy can barely walk, right? His physical, his gait, if you will, right? His gait, he's stiff. He's very stiff, right? This is elder abuse at its best, folks, right? Think about it. The most stressful job in the world, you're going to put somebody who should be lounging around the house, relaxing, exercise. Of course, everybody, that is good for anybody of any age, except for 0 through 5. You might not need to exercise all that much, but anytime after that, stay active, y'all. But this kind of activity for Joe Biden, this is insane to put an 81-year-old man through. I mean, it's hard to believe that people can look at themselves in the mirror and still be like, Joe can do another 4 years, y'all. He's good. He's good to go. I mean, most of the country can honestly, earnestly look at Joe Biden and be like, okay, yeah, he's too old. Except for, like I said, the people with that new TDS variant can't, because they don't perceive reality in the same way you and I do. Right? So it's kind of understandable for them. But for everybody else, we can see it. I mean, Democrats, even Obama, for goodness sakes, Obama has done campaign ads for Joe. Even Obama is calling for him to drop out. He's going to drop out. Most definitely at this point. See, I wasn't one to speculate on that, right? Like, I know he needs to drop out. Sure, we need somebody else. Who can we get? I don't know. But, he should have done this 6-8 months ago. Should have done this a while back. And now his ego is going to make the next guy fail. It's going to make him fail. Because it's not enough time to put on a good, full-out campaign. You just can't do it in that short amount of time. It's just impossible. But I want y'all to let me know what y'all think about all this down in the comment section. Do y'all think that somebody can come in and actually have some viability, like a viable pathway to success? Let me know what you think. Give me your opinions. And that's all I got for this one. I want to thank everybody for watching. And y'all try to have a good day. And stay legitical. Peace.